the interesting thing is with precious metals, the majority, not those that understand it, but the majority of people out there don't realise why it should be part of their portfolio until they see the price spiking.
Hi, Kerry. Thanks for joining us at Bullion Now. I believe that you're running a conference up there in sunny old Sydney.
We are coming up next month, Michael. And listen, thanks for having me on Bullion Now today.
No worries at all. So tell us, before we go into the conference, tell us a little bit about yourself. So how did you get involved in the bullion side of the world, and what's your background in that sort of stuff?
Well, the interesting thing is, Mike, it does go back a little way. When I was actually 8 years old, my dad was a captain in the Australian Navy.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. And he was captain of the HMS Melbourne, which had a bit of a ding-dong when I was 8. And I remember distinctly that we lost it as a family. We lost everything. I was taken out of private school, put into public school, which actually wasn't a bad thing. It was a good thing. But Mum had to go out and figure out how are we going to survive, having gone from sort of a nice naval background, salary, etc., to she ended up working as a waitress, and Dad went to work for the Australian Gaslight Company. So it was a massive change.
Wow.
And I remember Mum and Dad both talking about having to become financially independent from this ever happening again. And one of the things I remember Mum doing is she bought some gold Krugerrands.
Oh, really?
Yep. Way back in the day, she bought gold Krugerrands. Now, what happened to those Krugerrands, Michael, is a mystery to all of us still today. But she also ended up buying precious metals.
Yep.
And again, this is hilarious because she had quite a lot of gold bullion and silver bullion. And I remember the story. I was a lot older then, and she took it from one place to another. Now, I don't know from where to where, but she just had it in a briefcase and she walked down the streets of Sydney and somebody basically afterwards turned around and went, "Oh my God, what did you think you were doing?" And she said, "Well, no one really knew that." So I was kind of always intrigued about gold. Fast forward a number of years, I came back from living overseas in 2003 and I couldn't get work. And my ex-husband said, "Why don't you start a mining conference?" So I started to look into mining and what mining was all about. And there's a lot of different commodities in Australia. I was covering all of them. But then I remembered about Mum and I thought, I just started looking into money, gold, real money.
Real money,
and that started my fascination back in 2004 about why precious metals and specifically gold and silver should be part of anybody's portfolio. Fast forward today, we've been going, this will be the 11th year of running the conference, -2 because of COVID. And we're back in person. And I am absolutely passionate about getting people to wake up and understand how money, real money works. And
that's a fascinating insight, like a fascinating example of why, how bullion becomes part of your life. That's a fairly major, what would you call it, incident? I don't want to call it make too much of it, but that was a fairly major incident on Australian naval history. And to have that impact on you as a family, but you as an individual, that's actually pretty amazing. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this would like to ask a lot more questions down those lines, but we'll try and steer ourselves back to the conference because ultimately that's what we're here for and what we're talking to you about. So give us a bit more of a background on it. You said this fired up about 11 years ago, did it?
Yeah, there was a smaller conference happening down in Canberra, which was very deep and very philosophical and, long lectures, 3-4 hours at a time. And one of our keynote speakers, Barry Dawes, who's the executive chairman of Martin Place Securities, contacted me and said, "You know what, why don't you get together with this person and really do justice to it? Because Australia is the second largest producer of gold. We need to have a dedicated gold conference. Australians should know that we are a country that is producing gold, exporting gold. We have a very sustainable gold mining industry, and that flows on to people like yourselves who are connecting with the public. but Australians as a whole, I'm passionate about getting more of them educated and thinking about precious metals.
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons we started this YouTube channel. Obviously, and I keep saying this, we're a business. It's obviously good advertising for us. But one of the real passion projects, part of it was educating people, because so many people, I can't tell you the number of people that come to me and say, I thought buying gold was illegal, like even down to that level. So just making people aware of the fact that they can actually walk into a store, buy a lump of gold, and walk out again, with it in their pocket. Just that basic level of education is needed out there. So,
and I also think, Michael, that a lot of people think, oh, it's, it's like anything. Oh, it's too hard. It's too complicated. It's not complicated. It's really not complicated, but they think it is. Therefore, they don't even go down that road.
Yeah, it's exactly right. If you can buy a litre of milk, you can buy a bar of gold. It's really that simple. So I can't tell you how much we want to support you in doing this, in educating people more and more. So you started 11 years ago. Was that 11 conferences ago, wasn't it, you said? Because you did take a break for a couple of years. So how have the conferences developed over that time?
Well, we started off it's interesting. We started off in Sydney at a hotel first year, fairly small, but we had, I don't know if you remember the wonderful James Dines. He was the original gold bug, the Dines report. Sadly, we will be remembering him this year because Mr. Dines passed away last month in April of 2022. He was a wonderful man and a great mentor for me. And he was one of the first keynote speakers that came out and spoke to our audience back in 2010. Yeah.
Wow.
And I used to visit him in San Francisco when I was over there. And we only spoke before COVID about him coming out again. But we went from the hotel and then went across to Luna Park. And that was in the days when everyone was getting terribly excited about gold.
Yep.
And Luna Park was great. However, we got a little bit of a kickback on it, especially from people that were flying in from various parts of the world. There was not enough places for them to stay, et cetera, et cetera. So we moved back into Sydney. We did do 1 year in Melbourne, 1 year in Perth, but we're now going to keep it in Sydney, although rumour has it that we may be doing one in Queensland very soon.
What about Melbourne is the centre of the universe. You need to be coming down here.
Well, we might look. Anything's possible, Michael. With the support of Bullion Now, maybe we're going to have a look at that.
Well, it sounds like a plan. Excellent. So you've had some pretty big name speakers there, by the sounds of it, over the years.
Yeah, I think I'm very blessed. We've had people like Rick Rule, Eric Sprott, John Embry. I've spoken about Mr. Dines. We've had people from all over the world come and speak at our conference, people that would know in the industry. But what I like about them is that they give a big macro view. Take Rick Rule, for example. He will talk about, when he's looking at investing in precious metals, often it's as a contrarian investment because everyone else is not interested. They're all looking at some other shiny thing. And as he said recently to me, that is the best time. And I believe right now is a fantastic time. I would say that, wouldn't I? I'm running a gold conference, but I truly believe in an inflationary environment where you have massive uncertainty around the world, extreme volatility, ultimately gold should be a part of anybody's portfolio. And I always say, we're not telling you to sell your house and your children, but to have some exposure to precious metals would be quite smart because it's diversification is really something that you should be looking at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's got, as I keep saying, you got 5,000 years of history there showing you that when we panic as humans, we don't run to anything else but gold. And, in these times, as you said, as you said, it's so uncertain at the moment. Life is probably more uncertain than ever. I mean, we're facing a new government. We don't know anything about our new government at this stage, really. We don't even really know if we have a new majority government as we speak right at this second. Right. So the level of uncertainty is both right down to a community level, but all the way through to a macro world level. So even, again, as you said, we're not telling you to sell the house, but even to have a component on of your investments in gold. I love Kevin O'Leary's line where he allocates 5% of his and he's a very wealthy man, but he always keeps 5% of his wealth in gold, in physical gold. So, if a guy like that can do it, or feels like he should be doing it, then I think the trickle-down effect should be that more and more of us should be looking at that. But again, as you said, obviously I have an interest in saying that because I'm a bullion dealer. But as I say to people, that doesn't. Yeah, well, you don't. But just because you have an interest doesn't mean that the information you're giving isn't correct.
Absolutely. And I can see your passions. We're both very similar in that we just want to wake people up. And there's an interesting, just a quick story for you, Michael. A friend of mine was getting a lot of tips from the job that she was doing, and she was spending it. And I call it unconscious spending. And I said, all right, why don't we just, every single tip you get for the month, just put it aside, don't touch it. This is years ago, probably 4 years ago. And then I said to her, right, let's count it up. I'm going to take it into a bullion dealer and I'm going to change it for gold. Yep. And just 2 weeks ago when I was in Sydney, I said to her, can we just do a little comparison? If she'd kept the money in the bank, she would have made, I think it was $6.
Yeah. Woohoo.
With the gold that she purchased, it's over $1,000.
Yeah.
Now, that's not financial advice, and that's not me saying that's going to definitely happen, but she had that aha moment. And the second thing she said to me was, she said, what I like is I know it's sitting there and I don't go out and just spend it on a sandwich or a cup of coffee because it's sitting there in gold.
Yeah.
We
did 2 years ago, we did a YouTube video on comparing the price of your average house in Melbourne in 1971 with the price of gold and how much gold you would have bought, and then fast forwarded to 2020 and ran a comparison. And your $15,000 that it would have cost you to get the house in 1971, obviously 15 grand in cash is worth, you certainly can't buy a house in Melbourne for 15 grand. And you, even putting it in the bank, I think with the interest, we assumed a 7 or 8% average interest. And you worked out I can't remember now, but it was $80,000 or something along those sort of lines is what you turned it into. But your average house in Melbourne had moved from that 15 grand to 900 grand at that point. And the 360 ounces of gold that you would have bought at the spot price at that point in 71 was exactly what 360 ounces would have bought for $900,000. So your gold exactly matched the increase in prices of houses over that 40-odd year period, almost 50-year period, whereas almost anything else would not have matched it. So you're exactly right. Holding it in cash is a waste of time.
Yeah, and dare I say it, a waste of money.
Yeah, well, that's right. And you and I, well, definitely I'm old enough to know the ravages of inflation. I can remember, as a teenager buying things for the common example we give in the store is, remember when you used to be able to go to the fish and chip shop and, if you got 20 or 30 cents worth of chips, it fed you and your mates. Whereas now I think minimum order's somewhere around about $3 or $4. And that's purely inflation just on that type of thing. So holding the gold, particularly in high inflation environments like we seem to be entering or in the middle of now, is absolutely worthwhile. So back on topic though, we've got a conference to talk about. So tell us about the conference in Sydney that's coming up very soon.
Well, I'm pretty excited because it's Crown Tower Sydney, which is a brand new venue. It's beautiful down at Barangaroo. And you guys are going to be there, so that's pretty exciting in itself. And it's 2 days where people that come along, first of all, we're going to feed you really, really well. We're going to have some fantastic speakers. So Perth Mint are they're our gold sponsor, our major sponsor, and their treasurer is going to be opening up and at the conference and talking about the reason for owning gold in these high inflationary times. And Perth Mint will also have a booth there, so they're there to help talk to you about why you should be having gold as put up part of your portfolio, as will you guys. ABC Bullion. There's a number of bullion companies there, but also keynote speakers such as Rob Murdoch. Now, Rob Murdoch from Oztex, he'll look more on the equity side of things, because you can have exposure to precious metals in different ways. The physical, as you and I know, but equities is another way. That's a higher risk. And I always say to people, you've got to understand the risk. So we've got a number of mining company executives there that will present what they're doing. And it's the ability for those people that are coming to the conference to walk up to someone and say, I don't know the first thing about investing in equities. Tell me why I should put my hard-earned cash with you, as an example. And one of the ones and Barry Dawes, who I spoke about before, he'll also be speaking. Hedley Whittett from Lion Selection Group. What he'll show people is where we are on the clock, because everything's cyclical. We all know this, that things go in cycles. And right now we're in that really interesting, potentially cycle 5 out of 6, where inflation starts to rear its ugly head. Hedley's going to have a look at that and say, all right, this is where he thinks we're at. And a number of other ones. But the one that I'm actually pretty excited about as well, and I just interviewed him on my Gold Events YouTube channel, is Jonathan Payne. Now, Jonathan is an economist, an author. He writes the Payne Report. This guy's knowledge of what is going on, not just here in Australia, but globally, with supply chain issues, with inflation, whether he sees inflation, stagflation, the China situation, what's happening in India. So as a keynote speaker to open up day 2, if they do nothing else, Michael, if they do nothing else but go and visit the Bullion Now exhibition booth and make sure they go and chat to Jonathan, go and listen to Jonathan Payne and what he has to say. And by the way, that'll be very interactive, because Jonathan will speak, but then we're going to take questions from the floor. If they do nothing else, I'm not going to guarantee it, but I'm telling you, it's he's an unbelievable understanding of what's happening globally and why people need to pay attention right now. So I'm pretty excited to have secured Jonathan, because he's pretty hard to get.
He is. I'll guarantee it, because I've heard Jonathan before. He's brilliant. So if nothing else, come for that, and the Bullion Now stand, but come for that, because the information that he will give you, and it's really well researched, and he's not really attached to any one particular. So it's very unbiased, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. So yeah, can't encourage you enough to go to that one.
So look, it's 2 days. It's a packed agenda. It's all on our website. I'm sure you'll put the link up. They can look at the agenda. It's all there. But, Jake Klein, who's the chairman, executive chairman of Evolution Mining, he and I are going to have what we call a fireside chat. Again, we'd love, questions from the floor. He's got a wealth of knowledge. He's been in this industry for a long time.
Yeah, and I listened to him in Sydney a couple of years ago. He was brilliant too. Yeah. Real wealth of knowledge, that one.
Absolutely. And Owen Hegarty, I don't know if people know Owen Hegarty. Owen Hegarty's been in this industry for a long, long time. Owen's another keynote. So we've got some fabulous speakers. Sorry, I sound really excited, because I am. But we're going to finish off on day 2 with a panel discussion with the drink sponsored by Owen's company, EMR Capital.
Oh, excellent.
And we're going to give away some silver, courtesy of Investigator Resources, one of our silver companies, 0.5 kilo bars of silver. And there'll be other giveaways, but that's at the end of the second day. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to have a panel discussion, very interactive. Michael, this is a community. So even if they're people that have no clue about what to do and they're feeling very uncertain, before COVID, I had one of the people that came, and she was very, very nervous, had never invested in precious metals before, sent me a lovely email saying how much she learned and how it was worth every single penny. And she continues to keep in touch with me today.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's excellent. I can't recommend these conferences enough, because you get a whole variety, a whole wealth of knowledge from all different branches of the precious metals industry, from, the miners, refiners, bullion dealers, economists, financial. You'll find all sorts of people there from every walk of life. We'll all be talking and giving information. And you will find gems that will relate to you and your scenario, and people that you will reach out to over and over again in different ways, as I have over the years when I've attended these types of conferences. So absolutely, if you can make it there, I can't recommend it enough. And I know Kerry didn't say it, but that's possibly because we haven't made it official yet, but there might even be some platinum given away on that last afternoon as well. Not that we're the platinum sponsor, just that we might be sponsoring some platinum.
So we're going to have some platinum. I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't sure. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Bullion. They can't get out of it now, can they? Can't get out of it.
We won't even try. I just got to work out what's going to be. That's the hard part.
I was going to say, so Bullion Now are going to give away 20 kilos of platinum, ladies and gentlemen. It's very exciting.
No, we're not. For the record, it will not be 20 kilos of platinum.
Oh, guys, I tried, okay? I tried. But,
yeah, that's
listen,
right.
even the fact that there is some platinum that people can potentially like this. We've only got limited tickets available because of the venue constraints. We will live stream it as well, but you don't win platinum in live streaming. You got to actually be in the room. Just saying.
That's the one. Yeah, and we'll be. I don't know if we'll be live streaming, but we'll certainly have a lot of stuff. We're going up there, myself, Ruben, Matt, and Connor, and we'll be trying to bring as much of the conference to you as we possibly can, as well as Kerry's live stream, obviously. So give us the finer details, Kerry. When is it? You've said it's down at Crown. Give us some dates and times and where we can buy tickets and all that sort of stuff.
So the website address is really easy. Gold Events with an S, goldevents.com.au. Everything is on there, including just click on register now. That will take you to the Eventbrite ticket purchase area. The dates, the most important thing, it is on Tuesday, the 14th of June and Wednesday, the 15th of June. Now, the Tuesday, we have the conference till about 5:30 in the afternoon, and we're going to follow that an hour later at 6:30 to 9:30. We're doing an awards. We have the Gavin Thomas Mining Award, the Maggie Bullion Award, and the Hall of Fame Award. So 3 awards and some entertainment, which we're not announcing quite yet, but let me tell you, it's not going to be serious, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make you laugh. Because don't you reckon, Michael, we need a laugh? Everyone's been locked up and locked down and locked sideways. I reckon we need a laugh.
You're talking to a Victorian here. We definitely need a laugh.
Oh, that's right. You go, oh, yes, more than ever.
We are the capital of lockdown. So this is actually my first official excursion outside the state. So kind of looking forward to it. It was a bit of a culture shock trying to look at booking airline tickets and hotels and all that sort of stuff, because I haven't done that for years now. So, really looking forward to it. So
we're looking forward to having you up there as well, because, what you guys, I love your channel, your YouTube channel, but also how you break it down and show people that it's not that scary. It's not that hard. And also I love the way you just answer everyday questions that people have about this industry. And that's what we need. We need more people like you, Michael, just helping to ensure people that it's really very easy and ultimately helps you to protect your wealth, potentially grow your wealth.
No, I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, it's certainly a passion of ours to try and get that message out there, and we have a habit in this industry of making it sound very complicated and highfalutin, and it's not. As I joked about earlier, if you can buy a litre of milk, you can buy gold. It's really as difficult as buying milk. So absolutely. We will link.
Can I ask you a question quickly, Michael? What do you say to people that turn around and say, "But gold's so expensive, I can hardly afford to buy a litre of milk"? Because right now, with inflation continuing to rear its ugly head, people are getting more concerned. How do you break that down and help them with that?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. You can look at buying fractional gold. We can break it right down to a gram or even smaller. We have a program called Unallocated that we encourage people to be a part of in Not their first purchase usually, because it's not a physical product, although it's backed physically, but it allows people to get into gold very, very cheaply without paying any excessive premiums. We also encourage people to look at buying buybacks. So it's that quote unquote secondhand gold that people have traded back in. So you're not paying massive premiums on it. So we give people multiple options of how to get into gold itself and just talk them through it. So, it depends on how they're asking. And you can also start breaking down into, well, okay, you can't afford an ounce of gold, but what about some silver? Can we look at bringing you in through that? And we have a lot of our customers that will buy silver instead of gold, or even platinum to a degree instead of gold, because they feel they can't afford the larger sizes that they want. Because as we all know, the bigger you go, the cheaper it becomes on a per ounce basis. So there's that whole conversation goes on, which is all part of the education, which is part of what you're doing and part of what we're doing, educating on those levels. So, which is great. I can't encourage this enough, to a point where we will link the conference details underneath here. We will have a link to their website. So for gold events, we will also have a link to the tickets, so you can go straight in and buy a ticket. Come in and see Bullion Now. We will be there. We are, I believe, Kerry, correct me if I'm wrong, we're right next to the Perth Mint stand.
You certainly are, right next to the Perth Mint stand, and you've got a little lounge area there as well, where you can have a chat with people too. So, yeah, you're right next to them, right in the foyer.
We've been planning some shenanigans for Perth Mint, depending on who turns up as well. So, stand by for that. We'll see if we can get those on camera, and hopefully not get ourselves thrown out of the conference. But it'll be fun either way, and we'll make some good YouTube out of it. Kerry's already looking worried.
No, I'm not that worried. I'll just end up kicking you out. No, but also, Michael, it's 3 weeks away. I woke up this morning and went, it's 3 weeks tomorrow. Just to put it in perspective, when people go, it's June, it's like, no, that's in 3 weeks.
It is. So get your tickets, get them quickly. They are limited. Come along, see us. Come and see Perth Mint. Come and see the speakers, the miners. Come and get a feed by the sounds of it. I'm looking forward to that side of it. And it sounds like there's also a sponsor for the coffee, so you can come along and have a free coffee as well. So I believe that's ABC's sponsoring the coffee. Is that correct?
Yeah, ABC Bullion are doing the barista sponsorship. They're also going to be doing, what are they called? Espresso martini, coffee martini thingy. I don't drink coffee, so I don't know. But we're doing the awards. They're doing they're espresso martinis, I think they're called. At the awards night, but we also it's included in the price is morning and afternoon tea, lunch both days, drinks at the end of both days. So it's that's all included. So for one ticket, you get access to everything. You get fed both days, you get watered both days, and as you said, ABC will give them a decent coffee as well.
Yeah, so come along. Milk it for all it's worth. So get all the freebies you can find around there. That includes the information, which will be the most valuable there. Come and see us. I don't know if we're giving away anything, but usually we do. So come in and see us, and whoever else is there. Bring all the questions that you can think of. And seriously, the more off the charts the question, the better, because that helps us educate others around you as well. So don't be shy. Bring them forward. Bring all those really unusual questions. Come and see us. Come and see Kerry. Come and see all the people that are going to be there. And it will be a good educational time. Bring your kids as well if you can. There's no age limit on this, Kerry, I believe?
I don't believe there's an age limit, no. Not that I'm aware of. Crown, I don't. I'll just double check that, because Crown, even though they don't have the casino license, I'm pretty sure. No, it'll be fine. You know what? I'm going to put it out there. No, it'll be fine. But they all have to buy a ticket.
I put you on the spot a little bit there, but bring your relatives and friends. It really is about teaching people and getting the awareness out there more and more and more. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that, Kerry?
No, I think that you've covered it really, really well. There's nothing else apart from, come back to me and let me know about this platinum. I love platinum, by the way. I think it's great. So I'm very happy. So we've got silver. And maybe next week or next time I chat to you, I'll announce maybe we've got some gold to give away as well. But we love giving away stuff at the conference, but they have to be in the room, the panel discussion on the end of day 2. Because if you're not there, somebody else gets it. It's just being fair.
Yeah, you were telling me before about last time or one of the times previously where someone hadn't been there and you phoned them and said, you won, but sorry.
It was an ounce of gold, and they'd left for the airport.
Oh man,
He still remembers it to this day.
I'll bet he does.
Thank
you very, very much for your time, Kerry. We look forward to coming up there and having a yarn and some drinks, hopefully. And we'll keep encouraging people to come along over the next few weeks.
Thanks so much, Michael. It's been great to join you today.
No worries. See ya.